Hello everyone, welcome back to this training series on how to start a blog and make money. In the previous video, we talked about what is a niche, type of niches we have, and how to choose a niche for your blog. So in this video, we'll be talking about what is a domain, types of domain, tips in choosing a domain name, domain extensions, how to generate or form a domain name. So let's get started. What is a domain? A domain is the address of your website that people type in the browser URL bar to visit your website. Examples are youtube.com, facebook.com, cake.com, and so on. So move on to the next topic, which is types of domain name. There are two types of domain name. They are brand domain name. A brand domain name is a domain name that is unique to a particular blog or site. And we have the keyword domain name. A keyword domain name is a domain name that has or have keywords in its URL. There are two types of keyword domain name. They are EMD, which is exact match domain, PMD, which is partial match domain. So the essence of having keyword in a domain name is that it helps in ranking high in search engine or search results. Let's say, for example, now you're into cake making. So you want to name the name of your site or blog. You name it as cake.com. When you name it as cake.com, it is an exact match domain name. But in the other way around, you name it as esterscake.com. It's no longer an exact match domain name, but rather a partial match domain name. So the difference between EMD and PMD is, for EMD domain, it has only the keyword you're trying to rank for or you want to rank for on the URL, while PMD has part of the URL, part of the keyword in its URL. You can have part of the keyword with other words on the URL. So let me give you an example. Let's go to Google and press and type buy cake. From what we can see here, we have the first result, which is Diva Cakes. So Diva Cakes is a partial domain name because it has cake, or let's say cakes in it. The second result is Wara Cake. So it is also a partial domain name. Then we have Not About Cakes, the same thing, a partial. Jara Cake, partial. Dream Treats Cakes is also a partial domain name. So from what we can see from the search results, none of the sites or blog you are seeing here has buy cake in its URL. It has part of it, so it is a partial domain name. So let me give you another example. If you go to Google and type cars, for what we can see from the search results, we have number one result, which has cars.com. So cars.com is an example of an exact match domain name because it only has cars in it. It has no other words in it. So it's an exact match domain name. The second result we have here is cars45.com. That is to say, this cars45 is a partial match domain name. If we go down the results, If you go down the result, we have auto blog. No? We have car marks. Car marks is an example of partial match domain name. We have cars too. Cars.usnews.com. Example of what? A partial match. The same thing with this car and driver is an example of partial match domain name. As you can see, having the keyword in your URL helps in ranking a site high on search engines. But it doesn't just work like that. You still have to do what we call on-page SEO and off-page SEO. We'll be talking about these two in the coming videos. On-page and off-page SEO. Now, let's talk about tips for choosing a domain name. 1. Always stick with .com. The reason is they are very memorable, and most users usually tend to type .com at the end of every domain without even thinking about it. Another tip is don't always stick with .com. Choose a domain name extensions that fits. I will explain this better in the next slide. Another tip is use keywords in your domain name. I've explained about this in the previous slide, why it is necessary or important to add keyword in your domain name. Keep your domain name short and simple. Make it easy to pronounce and spell. Keep it unique and brandable. Avoid hyphens in your domain name. Also avoid double letters. Always research your domain name before you buy it. The reason is to avoid copyright, to avoid issues with copyright. So in this slide, we're talking about domain extensions. Domain extensions is the last part of a domain name. So there are two types of domain extensions. There are TLD, which is top level domain. The examples of top level domain are .com, .net, .org, .co, .info, .biz, .syz, .site, .website, .blog, and so on. There are a lot of top level domains. Another type of domain extensions we have is CC/TLD, which is country code level domain. A country code level domain is a domain that is reserved for a particular country and is usually 2 letters long. Examples of country code top level domain are .us, which is for United States of America. We have .ng, which is Nigeria. We have .uk, that is United Kingdom. .za, which is South Africa. We have .ca, which is Canada. We have .de, which is for Germany. We have .gh, which is for Ghana. We have .ru, Russia. .in, India, and so on. So we have so many country code level, top level domain. They are much and usually 2 letters long. In the previous slide, I spoke about don't always stick with a .com domain. And here are the reasons you shouldn't always stick with it. One, they are mostly taken. There is high possibility that the domain name you want to take with .com is already taken. If it's not taken, it is premium, and this you have to buy it at a very high cost, even up to about $5,000 for that particular name you want to go for. Another reason is it depends on where you want to target or your target audience. For example, you bake cake. Let's say you bake cake and you are targeting people living in your country. So it is better you go for a domain extension that suits your country, because these are the people you're going to target. And doing that will give search engines where to rank you higher, where to give you priority in ranking, that this particular domain or this particular business is for people living in this particular area. Another reason is there are some domain extensions that already have keywords as their domain extension. Example, we have .college. .college is a domain extension which can also serve as a keyword in the URL. Remember I told you having a keyword in the URL helps in ranking higher in search engines. We also have domain extensions like .school, we have .info, .institute, .science, .university, .wiki, .work, .space, and so on. They have a lot of domain extensions that has keyword or keywords as their extensions. We also have .graphics, we have .download, we have .business, .accountant, .bid, and so on. There are a lot of domain extensions you can use that has keyword in them. In case if the domain name you want as a .com, you can't find it, you can also go for these domain extensions that suits the keyword you want to include in your URL. So you can make research. We have .actor, we have .digital, .online, and so on. So what you have to do is just to go for the one that best suits what you're targeting, what you want, and you'll be fine. So now let's talk about how to generate or form a domain name. As a beginner, it might be very difficult to form or generate a good domain name for your blog. Or when you finally coin a creative one or a good one, you discover that it is not available. That's very frustrating. So in this section, we'll be talking about how to easily generate or form a domain name that is available, whether as .com or whatever extension you want to go for. So let's start. Use your name. Most of the times, if you use combination of your name and your surname, is always available. So use your name to form a domain name. Another way to form a domain name or generate a domain name is by using 3, 4, 5, or 6 letter words. You can combine 3 letter words or 4 letter words or 6 letter words to form a domain name. Another is use your name plus 3, 4, 5 or 6 letter words. That is, if your name is Arinze, you add Arinze plus 3 letter words, 4 letter words, or 5 or 6 letter words. You can use it to coin or form a domain name. Another way to generate domain name is by using 3 to 4 or 6 letter words plus prefix or suffix, with a prefix or suffix. So that will be all for this video. Please like, comment, and if this is your first time of watching our video, please subscribe. See you in the next video.